It started like any other dream, blurry, fragmented, slipping in and out of focus. But then, with a sharp clarity that sent a jolt through my chest, I found myself standing in an unfamiliar world. At first glance, it looked like Earth. There were towering buildings, sprawling parks, and crowded streets. People bustled about, just as they always did back home. But something was different. It took me a moment to see it. A child ran past me, laughing as he levitated a few inches off the ground. A man reached out to touch a wall, and the surface instantly transformed into shimmering gold before returning to stone. A woman disappeared into thin air, only to reappear on the other side of the street. I blinked, stunned. This wasn't Earth, not the Earth I knew. A middle-aged man walked past, seemingly reading my confusion. "New here?" he asked with a grin. I think so," I stammered. "Don't worry, you'll catch on." And with that, he vanished into thin air, leaving me even more bewildered. The gift that changed everything. As I wandered the streets, I began to understand. This was a world where people had powers, real, incredible powers. But it wasn't random. I overheard two teenagers talking. "What power are you choosing tomorrow?" one asked. "I think I'll go with invisibility," the other replied. "I mean, who wouldn't want to disappear whenever they want?" I stopped in my tracks. Choosing a power? Tomorrow? What did that mean? I had to know more. I approached a young woman sitting on a bench, her hands glowing faintly as she shaped what looked like a ball of pure energy. "Excuse me," I said nervously. "Can you tell me what's going on here? How does everyone have powers?" She raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. "You really are new here, huh?" I nodded, and she gestured for me to sit. "It started about 50 years ago," she began. "That's when the aliens came." "Aliens?" I repeated, still trying to process everything. "Yeah, aliens. They called themselves the Elythians. They came in peace, offering us something they called the Dream Engine. It was this incredible technology that could turn a person's deepest desire into reality. They said it was their gift to us, to help humanity evolve." She paused, her expression turning wistful. "When you turn 15, you get one chance to connect to the Dream Engine. You choose your power, your greatest wish, and it becomes a part of you. That's how it works." A world transformed. As I listened, I couldn't help but marvel at the possibilities. A world where everyone could choose their own power? It sounded like paradise. But as I explored further, I began to see cracks in the utopia. I watched as a man used his super strength to flip a car out of his way, not caring about the damage he caused. A woman shouted angrily at a group of teenagers, accusing them of stealing her power somehow. In the distance, I saw smoke rising from a building, the result of some destructive clash. Not everyone was using their powers for good. "Why does it feel like everything's falling apart?" I asked the young woman, who had continued shaping her energy ball. She sighed. "Because it is. At first, things were amazing. People used their powers to build, to create, to help each other. But it didn't last. Humans are, well, we're complicated. Greedy, jealous, power-hungry. It wasn't long before people started using their abilities against each other, and then we turned on the Elythians. The rebellion against the aliens. The aliens? Why? I asked, shocked. She looked down, her expression heavy with regret. Because humans always need someone to blame. When things started to go wrong, when people got hurt or made bad choices with their powers, they blamed the Elythians. They said it was their fault for giving us the Dream Engine. Some thought the aliens were secretly controlling us or using us for some experiment. Paranoia took over. She paused, her hands stilling. We attacked them, drove them away, destroyed their ships. We took the Dream Engine for ourselves, thinking we could control it. But we were wrong. The cost of ambition. As I walked through the city, her words echoed in my mind. I saw the consequences of humanity's actions everywhere. Buildings were crumbling, the air was thick with tension, and the people looked exhausted, like they were always on edge. I passed a man whose body flickered in and out of existence, his power unstable. A young girl sat crying on the steps of a building, unable to stop the flowers she'd conjured from spreading uncontrollably around her. I couldn't shake the feeling that the powers weren't a gift anymore. They were a burden, one that humanity wasn't ready to bear. A glimmer of hope. And yet, amidst the chaos, I saw glimpses of something beautiful. A man used his power to heal an injured bird, cradling it gently in his hands. A group of children laughed as they played a game, their powers turning the air around them into bursts of color. An elderly woman guided a blind man through the streets, their hands clasped tightly. There was still good here. There was still hope. The question of responsibility. As the sun set over this strange world, casting a golden glow over the city, I couldn't help but wonder, what would we do if this were our world? Would we use the gift of power to build something extraordinary, or would we let our greed and fear tear everything apart? I woke up with those questions swirling in my mind. The dream felt like more than just a fantasy. It felt like a warning. And now, I want to hear from you. If you could choose any power at the age of 15, what would it be? And do you think humanity could handle such a gift responsibly? More importantly, if the aliens were to visit us today, offering the same gift, what would you say to them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And one last question. Do you think power reveals who we truly are, or does it turn us into something we never wanted to become?